In today's video, we'll be talking about Lovedrive by the Scorpions. The album was released on February 25th, 1979, and it is celebrating 45 years. I'll talk a little bit about the history leading up to the release of this album, some of the lineup changes the band went through, including the short-lived and unexpected return of one of the founding members. We'll also talk about some of the controversies surrounding the album, and I'll talk about the album and the songs. The story begins in 1977. The band had just released Taken by Force, which is my favorite Scorpions album of the 70s. The album was doing okay, but at that time, Uli John Roth was not happy with the direction of the band. He stayed with the band until they started touring in Japan. He eventually left the band to form another band called Electric Sun. That was right before they released their double live album called Tokyo Tapes. They then had to find a guitarist, but the auditions became a long process. They had to go through about 140 guitarists before deciding on Matthias Jabs. He had been very active in the German music scene and he played in different bands. So now the band was ready to make the next album with what they called the classic lineup. It had Klaus Miene on vocals, Rudolf Schenker on vocals and lead guitar, Matthias Jabs on lead guitar, Francis Buchholz on bass, and Herman Rarebell on drums. There was also someone else who contributed to the album. It was Michael Schenker. He had just left the band UFO and recorded lead guitar tracks on 5 songs. There was actually a brief time period where Michael was in and Matthias was out. This was mostly during the first leg of the German tour in 1979. But then fate would happen. Michael Schenker quit while the band was touring France, so now Matthias Jabs was able to come back in the band. There was some controversy with the album cover. The front cover looks like this. You got the guy stretching chewing gum from the woman's exposed breast, and then here's the back cover. It's kind of controversial. I probably shouldn't show it, but here it is. It's the man and the woman holding the picture of the band, and the album cover was created by the firm Hipgnosis. They created lots of album covers in the 70s. They did like Led Zeppelin's Presence and a lot more. Now this was only a problem in the US, so there was an alternate cover, as you can see right here. In a 2010 interview, singer Klaus Miene commented on the album cover. He stated, "We just did not know it would be a problem in America. I always thought the cover was kind of strange, but if you look in the back cover, it doesn't really, I don't think it's distasteful. But I guess some people thought it was." So the album has 8 songs with 4 on each side. The runtime's about 37 minutes, and this was back in the 70s when albums were structured for vinyl records. The opening track is Loving You Sunday Morning. I've always liked this track. I read one review from El Cuartel de Metal where the reviewer had mixed feelings about it. They called it American hard rock, and they said it had some German flavor. They also said they preferred the live version. The reviewer also said that this one had the best Michael Schenker guitar solo. I always thought it was a good opening track. I would say it's a good hard rocker. The song is about spending time with a loved one on a lazy Sunday morning. Next is Another Piece of Me. I read a comment on the Loudwire review stating that this was a classic punk-paced slab of classic heavy rock. This person also mentioned the tongue-in-cheek lyrics and the solo by Michael Schenker, saying that this period from UFO to the MSG group was Michael at his peak. And I'd also say this might be one of their heaviest songs, especially from those of the late 70s. The main guitar riff could even be considered proto-thrash. The song was written by Herman Rarebell. It was inspired by the time he was in Japan. He was with a girl who was a kickboxer. She would fight with gloves, and she would fight without gloves, and there would be blood everywhere at times. So that was the inspiration for the title, because one time he told her, he says, "Don't put on a show, you're just another piece of meat." So that's the origin of this song. The next song is a ballad called Always Somewhere. A user from the Metal Archives website named Bayern called the song cheesy, which I just needed a reason to show some cheese stock photos. Another user called Sweetie called it a weaker ballad A user called Gas Mask Colostomy called it a dull ballad. There was even another user who said it was good. I kind of disagree with everyone there. I like the song. I think Scorpions do ballads very well. Plus, it's not overplayed like Wind of Change. That one I'm kind of like getting sick of, but this is a really good one. Lyrically, it's similar to Beth by Kiss. Musically, maybe similar to Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. But it's about someone on the road who misses a loved one and does not know when they will get back to them. Next is Coast to Coast, an instrumental. The first two reviewers on the Metal Archive website gave it praise. One person said it was the best instrumental that Scorpions have ever done. On the other hand, another user said it was good but still lacked something. I thought it's good. The band doesn't do a lot of instrumentals, and it's just a straightforward hard rock song. It didn't have technical solos or lead guitar playing, just some good and enjoyable hard rock riffs with Michael Schenker on guitar. We're now on side 2 of the album. There are 4 songs left, so let's talk about them. The next song is Can't Get Enough. I thought this was one of the heavier songs. The intro reminded me of Motorhead. It's one of the faster moving songs on the album. It's also a short song that's under 3 minutes. A reviewer on the Metal Archives website called this proto thrash, and I can agree with that. This album has some heavy stuff on it. I actually used the word proto thrash 2 times already in this review. And it's funny because this came out in the 70s and people always think of Scorpions as hard rock, but they really have some really heavy metal songs in their catalog. Next song is There Anybody There? This is one of their reggae sounding songs. They've had lots of songs with this style over the years, even up to their last album, Rock Believer. And I've always liked the song as well as the other like reggae rock songs they've done. I read mixed reviews of this. Some reviewers said it was odd, others said they didn't like it. Others said it seemed like a strange choice for a hard rock or metal band, but I think this band really makes this style work. And the title track, Lovedrive, another one of the hard rockers. A reviewer named Dawn of the Shred said that this borrows the unmistakable groove of Priest, Diamonds, and Rust to good effect. I guess I can hear that a little bit. You can hear some Judas Priest, especially in the guitar sound. Another user named the Metal Reaper said it had a strange ending, but to be honest, I didn't hear anything out of the ordinary with the ending. And the last song is called Holiday. This was one of the first songs that I knew from the band. Back in 1989, they put out a compilation called Best of Rockers and Ballads. This was on the album. And I think the album Lovedrive could be like the best of rockers and ballads because that like this album Lovedrive is very like representative. It just has lots of heavy songs and lots of ballads. So that made me think of that. And this ballad was ahead of its time. It was like the power ballads of the bands of the late 80s. And I definitely take it over Wind of Change. And I think this song has held up very well. So that is all. Let me know what you think of Lovedrive. Where would you rank it in this discography? If you want to see how I ranked it, check out the Scorpions ranking. I did 2 years ago after Rock Believer came out. Please like this video as it helps me with the user algorithm. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you in the next one.